Okay, so now we're circling back to Molly Rutter. So I'll be linking the channel where I got most of this information from in the description below. Actually, he does some really great videos. But this is from the beginning of her channel when she was living in Turkey. And her and her boyfriend used to make these TikToks. Nothing harmful, very cheesy, average TikToks, you know what I mean? But it gets worse as we go along. But anyways, let's continue.
I moved to Turkey because of the culture and the money. So back in the day, I had a Turkish boyfriend. It was a terrible relationship for many reasons, but one of the good parts about it is that he introduced me to Turkish culture. It intrigued me as a country and a culture, so that's the main reason I came here. Second of all, money is a really big priority. Oh, I have news. Me and my Turkish boyfriend broke up.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. I think this dude completely broke Molly. I believe so. It's kind of like Chantal. Remember when she broke up with Bibi? When she was with Bibi, she was all wholesome, completely different person. But after he broke up with her and told her to move out, she became a completely different person. She fell apart. She went to a stabby. Now she's in this fake relationship. I feel like this dude is the one that broke her spirit. Like, honestly, like I see very many similarities to her and a girl. And even we can say the same thing with Aylar and Destiny. Destiny broke her. Like, honestly, Destiny broke her when she dumped her. It's the same thing. This dude broke Molly.
We dated for about a year and a half, and the breakup happened 3 months ago. It was a breakup completely initiated by him. From my perspective, there were quite literally zero signs that this breakup was about to happen. Shortly after the breakup happened, I was able to have a conversation with him where I had a list of all these questions, like, is our love real? Why are we breaking up? I just asked him the questions and he responded. I did not offer my opinion in response to any of these questions. I did not give a response even. I would just ask my question, why are we breaking up? Listen to what he said, say okay, and move on to the next question. Obviously, I have a bazillion thoughts and opinions in response to everything he said in this conversation. I'm so grateful that I was able to leave this relationship with a super strong understanding of why it was ending. That is a gift. Anyone out there, if you get the chance to have a conversation with someone, especially when they're the one breaking up with you, I highly recommend doing what I did. I would recommend it to anyone. I had a list of questions on my phone. I asked them. I said nothing in response and went to the next question. And then all of my thoughts that are going on in my head, because there was I'm excited for this new season of my life. I'm excited to continue to use this platform to share my experience living and teaching abroad.
Okay, I didn't want to interrupt her there, but that's a good thing. At least she has some closure. And remember when she posted this, she was still living in Turkey. She was still living in Turkey when she posted this video because, like I said in the beginning, they used to do those cheesy TikToks, both of them together, a lot in their channel. I guess it used to be their channel. But yeah, if you get the opportunity to get an explanation why the relationship is over, good for you. Go for it. But now this is when we get to the bottom of what really happened, what caused the relationship. I was like, ma'am, why would you agree to such a thing? Oh my God. Anyways, listen.
Because it's super fulfilling. I knew that if I mentioned the open relationship thing, people would have many questions and opinions about it. I understand with the way everything turned out, it seems as though it was a choice he made, and that's what led to him breaking up with me and getting married. But the fact of the matter is, I'm the one that brought up the open relationship. It was my idea.
Yep, you heard her correctly. She suggested that they have open relationships. Oh boy. To me, it seems like she already knew that something was up, that he had a wandering eye. Maybe she thought if she gave him the okay to do whatever for another person, that he would stick around with her. Bad idea. I've had some friends that had open relationships. I guess it's called polyamorous. Never worked out for them at all. Never worked out at all for them because the other person ends up leaving them for the other person. You know what I mean? It is the craziest thing, but I guess for some people it works. But Jesus, no way, man. No way, man. But anyways, let's continue.
because I saw a way it could be beneficial and positive for me and him and our relationship. And I know that that's really hard for people to understand, and that's okay. If it doesn't make sense to you, then you don't ever have to be non-monogamy. It's not for everyone, and I don't feel a need to try and convince anyone otherwise. If monogamy makes you happier and more secure, then do that. I feel differently about it. I really believe that even if we never did the open relationship, I still think we would have broken up. Because we didn't break up because he wanted to go be with that girl. We broke up for separate reasons. Actually, he broke up with me for separate reasons.
So she's convincing herself right now that they broke up for a separate reason. But yeah, he left her for the other chick. So you guys understand what she's putting down. He left her for the other chick, but she's trying to convince herself that's not the reason why. So, I mean, she brought up this open relationship because she knew who was going to leave her for this other chick anyways. So it sounds to me like she said, oh, hey, how about we just be polyamorous in order to keep him? That's what it's sounding like to me at this point, but it still backfired on her. That's what it sounds like.
And then he had nowhere else to go. He was homeless. He didn't have a job. So he naturally fell into a situation with her. I don't think it had anything to do with the open relationship. And I don't really feel much of a need to overly explain it to me.
So apparently this is when she started having a meltdown because, it came across her timeline when they first started the TikTok channel or whatever. And she was reminiscing about this relationship. But anyways, here we go.
I missed her beautiful apartment. Seriously, these TikTok memories really kill me because it's a lot of content with my ex, and I know that I ended for a good reason, but it's just, I think about when the relationship was good.
Okay, so that's tough. I get it. I can sympathize with her. That's tough. So my question is, why not just take down those TikTok so you don't have to see them? So I guess after that breakup of the relationship, breaking heart, then she moved back to the States, Buffalo, New York, and this is when people start calling her jobs because she started doing these dating TikToks and posting them, and some parents were concerned, and you know how it goes on social media. But anyways, here we go.
Right from when I was hired, it was actually on the radar of my school because they right away noticed that I had this public platform and they asked me questions about it. And I was very honest with them. I said, look, I put a lot of conscious thought into how I present myself online. I stand by the content I create. I think it is completely appropriate and positive. And I said, and I intend to keep that platform and continue to be as conscientious about it as I have been. So it was very open and honest right from the beginning when I first got hired. Then what ended up happening, though, is more and more people were reporting back to my school about my platform. And that's when the conversation started to get confused. An anonymous message to my school saying that Molly Rutter dates younger men, is unfit to teach, and is not equipped to be under the well-being of children.
I mean, that's a little bit sexist. That's a little bit sexist. I mean, I see as a teacher, it can also be seen as predatory, but it's a little bit sexist because there's a lot of younger females that go after older guys, and people have no issue with it. But when a female does it, it's an issue. You know what I mean? Culturally, it's a little bit sexist. But anyways, one of my favorite stories with her is when she went on a date and asked this dude he worked in finances if he can do her taxes for her. They never even met. This dude was 23 years old. And something happened. It's a wild, crazy story. I have to find the clips for that. Wild, crazy story, and they never ended up meeting up. Can you imagine somebody who just met? Oh, you work in finances. Great. I'm behind on my taxes. I'll bring along my taxes. Well, on this date, you can just get cracking on those taxes of mine for me. That'd be fantastic. But she does TikToks that are rage baity because she quit her job to get eyes on her TikTok. She does a lot of stuff that's rage baity, kind of like our girls over here in Girl World. So that's what the similarities are, because it's I wish she would find a different teaching job and kept on doing her TikToks, but you know what I mean? So now she's kind of cornered herself to only surviving on TikTok. So now she has to do all these rage bait TikToks to get more eyes on her. It's kind of sad though.
Now, also this person made a reference to me being a 4th grade teacher, which is not true. I was a 3rd grade teacher. So I spoke with my school about it. Like, they're the ones that reached out to me and said, hey, we got this message, just wanted to inform you. And they're like, we have a feeling it's not someone in the school community, because I feel like someone in the school community would know what title you actually were. And so she's like, but I just want to tell you just to, be more careful, maybe someone's out to get you, like that sort of thing. So that really freaked me out, because I was like, wow, the evil people online are really going to come for my career like that? They're going to come for my livelihood? I really think the reason that person emailed the school was because of my infamous tax date video, which is probably my most viral video to date. And the amount of hate and negativity I received for that was absolutely insane. The fact that people think I actually was going to give my social security number to a 23-year-old I've never met. Also the fact that people were calling me really inappropriate terms for those that abuse children because I was going on a date with a 23-year-old. There was a big risk here of defamation and a big risk of jeopardizing my life. Apparently, a parent in the school community reached out to my school and mentioned concerns about my TikTok. But what got so confusing about these conversations is I would always ask my school, do you view that I've violated our school's community guidelines and social media guidelines? Because I always stand by my content, as I've said from day one, that I have not violated our community guidelines. And so if you think I have, please let's discuss that. They were never able to give me a direct answer, which showed me that they obviously didn't think I was violating the standards, because if I did, they would either do some sort of disciplinary action against me or potentially just fight. So
as I said in my previous videos, I guess upon realizing or learning that she did these insane dating TikToks, they tried to move her into a different grade. She wasn't having that. She wasn't happy about that. But this is, again, like I said in my previous video, in certain professions, there are certain things that are best that you keep them off of the internet. You know what I mean? And I think her dating TikToks would have been one of those things to keep off of our public platforms, honestly, in my opinion.
I was shocked by this information, first of all. And then, I'll be honest, I just was not jumping up and down at moving to middle school. This would have been my 5th year teaching. 4 of those years, I've been in a 3rd or 4th grade classroom. I'm not in a mood for a career change like that in teaching. I think one of the best things about teaching is I'm getting emotional now saying this, but one of the best things about teaching is getting to improve upon what you did every year. And I came to really love teaching 3rd. If doing a simple change in grade level by a few grades to a different subject area, if that was enough to make you want to run away from teaching, how attached do you really feel to teaching then? If social media and the amount of judgment you're receiving from it is not enough to make you run away from social media, what is that saying? So sorry, my contact is still acting up. My head was spinning because I was like, what do I want to do in this next phase of my life?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would have given up a career in teaching for TikTok. All you had to do was modify your content, it seems like to me, but she wasn't willing to do that. So to me, it lets me know that her heart wasn't fully into teaching, even though in a previous video she did mention that even though she was teaching in a prestigious private school, she was barely making any ends meet. So to me, it seems like she was also looking for a way out of teaching, if that makes any sense, because I don't get it. I don't get it why give up that career to be a TikToker.
And then what led were like months of turmoil, basically, where I talked to everyone in my life. Like, I talked to friends, family, guys I went on dates with. Like, I talked to everyone about this existential crisis. I shine, I thrive. Give me a mic, put me on a platform, give me a platform for my voice. And look, I got it. And look at how successful it's been. Look how well received it's been.
And there it is. She was looking for a way out of teaching anyways. It doesn't seem like her heart was really into it. There it is. Okay, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense now.
By thousands of people. And I made money from it. Then the other person over there is like, yeah, but how much money have you made, Molly? Is that really sustainable? And then I'm like, not enough right now.
Yep. But anyway, so it seems that she used to be against taking affiliate links. You know what that is? Where you take any advertisement to get a cut of that to make money. But since she quit her job, she ended up taking those that promoting products, whether she believes in them or not, just to make the money because she quit her job. Yeah. Great move, my dear. Fantastic move.
I go into this meeting, I'm asking the same questions I've always asked. Does the school consider that I have violated our school's community guidelines or social media guidelines? And then what is the school's stance on me maintaining a public social media platform while teaching at the school? And I can't even fully describe to you their answer to that because it was so convoluted and confusing. It was like a total peeing around the bush type of answer. It was never a direct yes or no, ever. Like, it really started to make me feel like I was going a bit crazy because I felt like they didn't like my social media. I felt like they thought it was a problem by nature of the fact that they were asking me to come to a meeting to talk about it. And yet they would never tell me it was a problem. And so I didn't know what to do. And I just thought, this is never going to go away, right? Like, is this really sustainable, teaching and having social media at the same time? And so I've decided I'm leaving education. I don't know if I'm leaving education. You want to know what the real problem is? Do I know the real problem? Let's get into it. What's the real problem? I don't make enough money. That's the problem. I can sum up everything back to that. I don't make enough money as a teacher. If I made enough money as a teacher, I would get rid of my social media platform and I would just teach. Because it's that fulfilling. It's that rewarding. It is that beautiful of a profession. Like, teaching is so, like, how could you ever do anything more pure and more positive for the world than teach? How could you tell me a more positive job? I know there are many other positive jobs, but for me at least, like, I can't imagine a better job. But I don't make enough money. I'm barely surviving. I lived a very high quality of life abroad teaching. Very high quality of life. And I would go back abroad again at some point. But right now I just need to be with my friends and family. In the US, I've only been teaching here since January. And I'm barely surviving, people. I'm barely making rent. I'm on a payment plan right now with my rental company because I couldn't afford my rent for months. Like, I am financially struggling so much. I'm scared that this will all flop and explode in my face and not work out. But if that's the case, then I can always go back to teaching, or if that doesn't work out, I can just find something else.
I mean, I understand her plight with the pay and barely scraping by, even though she loves her profession. And I just wish she would have kept teaching and kept her TikTok, but tried to shift her content. You know what I mean? That would have been a better solution for her if she just switched her content. That would have worked out so much better. But anyways, we're gonna switch over to the gears over to her podcast that she has here on YouTube. So I believe this is her second episode. So she has some stuff to get off her chest. Let's listen.
So I want to start off with a hot topic, and that is my appearance. So often I will get comments from people, and this is probably one of the most frequent comments I get, and that's regarding the way I dress. So I'll get comments from people saying, why are you always wearing the same t-shirt? Why are you always wearing those muumuus? Even one time I went on a date where I wore this same t-shirt, but my Bubba and Bo version of my dogs. And people in the comments were like, how could you wear that on a first date? You don't really care about yourself. If someone showed up dressing like that on the first date, I wouldn't leave in a second. And then anytime that I dress up more, people will say things like, oh, this is how you should dress for your dates. Or, oh, if you wore tighter fitting clothing, like a pair of jeans and a fitted t-shirt, that would look so flattering on you, more flattering for your body type. You should show off your body more. You would look so beautiful instead of in those oversized muumuus and oversized t-shirts that do nothing for your body. I want to address that because I get those comments a lot. And
I mean, Molly, to me, that sounds like people, are just trying to give you good advice. And also, remember, first impression. Normally you want to put your best representative out there, So I get what people are saying, but anyway, she's going to puff her chest because she does not like it at all, what you have to say about what she wears.
I just want to say that you must have me confused with someone who cares. Because guess what? I don't care what a nameless, faceless person thinks about how I look.
I mean, I love this Molly. But here you are responding to these faceless person you don't know on the internet. Here you are responding to them about what they had to say about you, what you were. Like, it's fantastic. I love her. Go on, Molly. Go on, girl.
And I'm sorry, I missed the part in my videos where I asked for your opinion about how I look. Yeah, I don't think I asked you ever, actually. There's a reason why I never asked you. I never asked you because I don't give a. I don't. The fact of the matter is, I work from home now. I work for myself. The majority of the videos that I post are me filming myself talking in my home. Do you really think I'm gonna put on a bra and a fitted outfit that's flattering and shows off my body and do a full face of hair and makeup every single day I record on TikTok? Do you really think that I'm gonna do that? Because I'm sorry, I guess I must have missed the dress code for working in social media. I guess I must have missed that part of the code of conduct. One of the things I love about TikTok is I think compared to any other platform that exists right now, people have the opportunity to be the most raw and authentically themselves. If you look at Instagram, for example, it's a lot more curated. And it's always been that way. TikTok rose up as sort of the antithesis of that, where people can be authentically themselves. It was like a spinoff of Vine, where people are just being ridiculous. And that means they don't have to wear a full face of makeup. That means they don't have to wear clothes that are flattering. I'll wear the same oversized t-shirt in a 3XL all the time I want. You know what? For this podcast today, actually, I almost put on this dress that I love. It's this like neon orange color. It's really cute. And I changed my mind last second because I knew I wanted to talk about this. And I was like, I'm wearing the Baby Monty t-shirt. And I'm wearing it.
Yes, Molly. You wear whatever you want out of spite. Spite them. That's my girl. You guys, come on. Molly is fantastic. Molly is great. You cannot tell me that this girl would not fit right in Girl World. In my eyes, in my opinion, she's part of Girl World. She cracks me up. She is feisty. She does stuff out of spite. I love her.
Because this is me. Just as much as Molly, who's dressed to the nines in fake lashes, full beat, and hair done, that is the same Molly as the one in her muumuu and her slippers with her hair up in a messy bun. Okay? Those are the same people. And I'll be damned if now that I'm working from home, I'm not going to benefit from the fact that I can dress and look however I want. And sorry, it's not even just because I'm working from home. It's because I'm working in social media. I do whatever I want on social media. I do whatever I want. I can say whatever I want. I can look however I want. I'm like, who are you? Like, who really do you think you are giving me that opinion? Oftentimes I'll experience things in the social media world that'll make me have this much bigger philosophical conversation with myself about it. And with this one in particular, it reminds me of how, unfortunately, it is still an issue to this day that people genuinely believe that women owe it to others to be flattering. That a purpose for women stepping out into the public is for the gaze of others. Let that sit for a second. Despite all the progress that has been made, that is still an issue. That is still something that people are commenting on. The fact of the matter is, I owe you nothing. I don't owe you my flattery. I don't owe you seeing parts of my body in a way that you think is flattering.
But again, Molly, here you are again because you feel like you owe an explanation why you do what you do. You could have just ignored all those people who are saying whatever they're saying about what you're wearing, just keep on wearing whatever the hell you want to wear. But apparently it does bother you in some level because why even bother addressing it? You could have just moved right along and ignored the comments. But either way, honey, you go ahead. You tell them exactly how you feel.
The only person I have to speak to about that is myself. And I am just as confident in my oversized t-shirt and my muumuu as I am a dress and heels and fake lashes. It's no secret. Anyone in my life who knows me well knows that my getting ready time is sacred. I take a long time to get ready. And the reason is because I love the process of doing my makeup. It's like an art to me. It's an art form. My face is the canvas. I'm literally drawing and painting on my face. And I take so much enjoyment out of that. It's like therapy to me. So I love listening to some music, having a little drinky drink, doing my full face of makeup and hair, and making myself feel beautiful. I love that process. And I definitely get that from my mom. My mom was the same way. It's the reason I have her vanity in my bedroom, because she was exactly like that. She would sit at her vanity, watch her shows on VHS, and get herself ready. And she would take a long time. I remember as a kid, I would get so annoyed with her. I'm like, Mom, are you ready? Yeah, let's go. And I recognize now, though, that that was a therapeutic time for her. That was her me time. And so don't get me wrong. I will always do an aspect of this. I care about the aesthetic. But then I'll also wear stuff like this. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Leave me and my appearance alone. I did not ask you. And like, it's true. Occasionally, to my followers that I love and are kind to me, I will invite opinions. Like, do you think this looks good or that? Or I'm trying this new thing. That's also a part of just being a human being. You bounce ideas off of each other and get advice from one another. I do that occasionally. But the vast majority of the time, when I'm posting a video of just me going to a date or just me living my life, I chose to look that way that day. And I don't give a damn what your opinion is of it.
So, you see, you guys, how much she's like my Canadian bacon? They want to post up whatever they want to post up, but God forbid somebody has some criticism. Lord, it's the end of the world. It is the end of the world. Molly, you posted your videos on a public platform. Guess what? That invites opinions, criticisms, whatever. If you don't want people commenting on your stuff, shut off your comment section. Oh, wait, but you also want the engagement, but that's not the engagement you want. You only want positive engagement. There is no such things, honey. There is no such thing. You're not only going to get positive engagement, but I love you anyways. Continue.
Just had to make that clear because I think there was some confusion about that in some people. Okay, so now I want to get into my insane story of the week. So this is something that I experienced on Sunday. I did talk about it on my TikTok, but I'm going to elaborate more on it here. So on Sunday, I start my day just like any other Sunday. I'm like, all right, it's going to be a self-care day. It's going to be a get the apartment ready day. I'm going to clean, tidy up, do some laundry. And I was having a slow start to my day. You know, eating some food, watching Netflix, chatting up around the house. Next thing you know, it's 4 p.m. You know, one of those Sundays. The time just like flew by. And all of a sudden, it hits me. That day was the Bills home opener. Oh my God, what time was it on? So I immediately Googled Bills home opener. And the score is there with like all of these news articles of what happened in the game. And I was just jaw dropped. It was 4 p.m. The game was on at 1. I had completely missed the Buffalo Bills home opener. I just completely forgot that the Bills existed that day. And the reason I'm bringing this story up is because what spiraled afterwards, I basically had a panic attack about it. And I know that might sound really weird to some people, but I'm from Buffalo. The Buffalo community, Bills Mafia, is very strong. It's such a positive part of the community that I've always loved. I'm not a sports fanatic by any shape of the imagination, but I am a major sports fan for Buffalo because I just love our community. I love the community aspect of organized sports. I always have. And so I, as I mentioned before, was living in Istanbul, Turkey for 3.5 years, where I obviously didn't get a chance to watch any Bills games, really. I mean, I would watch them. Occasionally, if the time difference worked out, I would watch a game, but it was always like 7 hours later in Turkey. So I would usually watch the games late Sunday night or something like that. And even a few days prior, I had talked to my best friend about it. Where do you want to go to watch the Bills game on Sunday? And we shared some ideas. And I ended up telling her, I'll go wherever you go. I don't really care where I go as long as I'm out somewhere watching the Bills game, right? Then Sunday just happened, and for some reason, I completely forgot. And the reason it triggered a panic attack in me is because I felt detached from reality. I felt like my mind had deceived me, and I just made a huge mistake.
Okay, Molly, I am getting a little bit worried, but you're detached from your body. Huh? That makes no sense. But okay, let's continue. Tell me the story. Tell me the rest of the story.
Somehow, and I didn't quite understand why this happened. And so then I immediately called one of my best friends, spoke to her on the phone, and that was amazing. Like, shout out to Christina. I love you. Like, she's one of my best friends. Sorry, before I even called Christina, after I saw all these news articles, I went onto Instagram and had seen that my best friend, the one that I'd spoken to earlier in the week about watching the Bills game, she was at a nearby bar with multiple other friends. And I just felt forgotten. I was honestly quite surprised that she didn't think to text me that she was going there.
Wait, so it was a friend's job to make sure that you kept track of time? Or maybe, did you ever think that maybe your friend thought, Maybe she changed her mind. Maybe she's busy. Whatever. I'm still gonna go out anyway. Say what? Oh God. The sad thing is that I know somebody like Molly in my life. I know somebody exactly like her. Or maybe the friend just needed a break from you. I don't know.
Her and I ended up talking about it afterwards, and she had a lot going on that weekend. Ultimately, I don't blame anyone but myself. I'm the one that forgot. It's just I was really surprised that she didn't think to text me and be like, "Where's Molly?" or something like that. But after hearing what happened to her that weekend, it did make a lot of sense, and it wasn't malicious or on purpose at all. But anyway, so I call Christina. I'm on the phone with her, and I am crying. I'm like, like this kind of vibe. I was just so freaked out. And in talking to her, we realized that it's pretty obvious how I forgot about this because I was living abroad where I wasn't mentally accustomed to watching the Bills every week. So it just wasn't in my habit, you know? And then on top of that, I'm now starting a new career where I'm working from home. My schedule, my routine is all out of whack. I'm still figuring out my daily routine and holding myself accountable to do things where I can be a real person, but then also be present for my social media life, but then not let that bleed into everything else I'm doing. And it's such a hard thing to do because being on social media is so attached to who you are as a person. So it's just like it's all been blending in together. My days have been running in together. And it makes total sense then why I was so confused. Because think about it. If I was still teaching, I would have gone to school that Friday and everyone would have been dressed in Bills gear. And what's even crazier too is that Sunday, I swear, if I had just spent a little bit more time outside of my house, I would have noticed something Bills and it would have triggered it. Because think about it, you can walk past a house with a Bills flag, or you walk past someone on the street wearing Bills gear. All it would have taken is one of those things, and it would have snapped me back into reality and been like, oh my God, you need to go watch the home opener. But no, I just took my dogs on a quick little walk in the morning, and that was the only time I was outside. So I felt much better after I talked to Christina. I was giving myself some grace. And then I immediately texted a friend, and I ended up meeting up with her for a drink because I was like, no way in hell am I being productive in my house now the rest of the night. If all of Buffalo is out celebrating this win, I need to be out in Buffalo even for just a few hours. So her and I went out and met for a drink, and I was super glad I did that. It was a really good time. And oh my God, a related thing that happened. So anyone that follows me, you know that video. Okay, sorry, let me explain. So anyone that follows me knows that I do this video series called Dishing It Out While Doing the Dishes, where I just basically talk and gossip or vent or something while I'm doing the dishes because I hate doing the dishes. So anyways, I was sharing a story about my favorite date I've ever been on. And it was with a whiskey distiller, and he took me on a private tour of the distillery, and he had this like pitcher of old fashioned prepared for us. I ended up going back to his like magical hidden urban cabin in the middle of this neighborhood that you would never even know existed. And it was just like a magical, unreal experience that felt like a dream, to be honest. I'm not going to get into the whole date here. I'll link the video in the description if you're interested in watching it and hearing the whole story. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I saw him. Oh goodness. So when I was out with my friend, we were like outside at this bar, and he walks by, and he was with two girls and a guy, and we definitely locked eyes. It was very obvious we made eye contact, but I was too nervous to say hello just because I feel rejected by him because I sent him this message. Okay, I forgot to mention, so this is relevant. So after that amazing date, we didn't end up seeing each other again because I was moving to Turkey in a few months. So while I was living in Turkey, we kept in touch here and there, just like on social media, just randomly. And then when I moved back to Buffalo, I was thinking about him from time to time, and I was like, you know what? I would love to see this guy again. So I messaged him on Instagram, and I said, hey, I know this is really random, but I would love to see you again if you're interested, and blah, 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 like whatever I said. And he never answered it. I don't know if he saw it. His read receipts, I don't think were on. So I have no idea. But he never answered me. And I'll never regret it. I always say to people that I'd never regret shooting my shot. Never regret just shooting my shot and trying. And so, but oh my God. So I saw him, and I was honestly surprised to see him because I don't even know if he lives in Buffalo anymore. I know when I was living in Turkey, he lived out of state, but I don't know. Maybe he lives here now. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he was just back for the home opener. I have no idea. But
Wait a minute. So I'm confused. You went on a date with him once. Never saw him again because they're getting ready to move to Turkey. Moved to Turkey. But while you're in Turkey, you knew that he moved. How would you know he moved if you're only being on a date with him once? Oh boy. So now I'm getting, there's a couple of incidences that make people call it this. Now I see why people call her baby reindeer. Martha, whatever the lady's name is in that movie or show, whatever. I see why they call her baby reindeer because that is so bizarre. Like, okay, whatever. Let's continue.
I did see him. He did see me. Awkwardly, he walked away. Then he walked back because he was going to like the next door bar. And that was where me and my friend were going after. And so we went there, and we ended up sitting like 2 tables away from him outside on the patio. God. We didn't end up talking. We didn't end up saying anything to each other. But now it's just making me realize that I might see more of him eventually, and I wonder if we'll ever end up talking about what happened. When I was talking to my friend, I was telling her if I say hi to him, I know myself and I'm going to bring up the fact that he ghosted me. And she was like, "Don't do that." And I was like, "Why?" And I really love this girl, so I really do value her opinion. I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "You don't have to do that. Like, it doesn't have to be this confrontation." And I was like,
Okay, so to me, it sounds like you moving to Turkey was a blessing for him in disguise because it sounded like he didn't really want to see you again, anyways. So you moved back, you hit him up, he ghosted you. So that should have been like, clearly wasn't interested. So what's the purpose of you like confronting him on? Like, make sense. Baby reindeer. Just kidding.
I love confrontation. I don't know. I do take what she's saying to heart. But at the same time, I don't know if Molly's gonna be able to stop herself. So I don't know, we'll see. I wouldn't be mean about it, but I don't know how to just have a conversation and make small talk with someone when they ghosted me like that. When I like put myself out there and they just rejected me. I don't know how to do that. Is that just my ego talking though? Should I just like take the higher road and just be like, be demure, be nonchalant? I don't know. It's not me. It's not me.
But anyways, yeah, that was a little bit of Molly for this video that I got. I guess it's like a third installment of Molly. But yeah, I like it. It's interesting to watch how her brain works. You know, it's interesting. But then the rest of the podcast, she just went back and going on and on about the Buffalo Bills. It's like, lady, who cares? Now, if you're talking about the Eagles, we'll be talking. But anyways, yeah, that's what I got for Molly for now. And I will catch you in the next video. I might actually go back and working on my longer form of Shani and Rav video. But I will catch you guys in the next one. Later. Until then.